Hello everyone and welcome. This is going to be quite a different video. As you can see, my webcam, well, you can't see this part, but my computer is set up on my drum set chair facing my drum set and my computer desk, as you can see. Because today I've decided, this is going to be a bit late. I could have done this a long time ago, but I'm doing it now. I'm going to be comparing the Dualshock 3 to its successor. I'm pretty sure that's right, the Dualshock 4. So I'm going to be comparing these two controllers today. Hopefully the quality is fine and stuff because, again, my webcam's kind of on the floor. So let's take a look at here at the Dualshock 3. Before we talk about how it feels in my hands and stuff, let's just go over what is on the controller. So as you can see, we have the two thumbsticks right next to each other. The PS button, start and select. You have the D-pad, then the square, triangle, circle, and X buttons. L1 and R1 are right here, and the triggers, well, these aren't really called triggers, these are just R2 and L2 are right here. And on this side we have a USB charging cable thing. You put it in there, charge it, and you got the light up for the controller. So that's the Dualshock 3. So first impressions when I picked this up and put it in my hands, it feels pretty solid. I have used Dualshock controllers since the PS2 and PS1 days. I have been a PlayStation user obviously for a long time, but I've used the Dualshock for a very long time. So the controller is very comfortable to me. I have smaller hands than like your average manly man does, but it fits pretty good in my hand. I have no problems playing games, getting kills and stuff. Everything works fine. I like the thumbsticks. The thumbsticks are very nice to me. I don't really slip off, as some people say they slip off, but I really don't slip off at all with this controller. And then the controller feels really solid in my hands. I can play any game with it. It works just fine. But one of the things people like to bash a lot are the triggers here. These aren't called triggers on this controller, I believe. They're just called R2 and L2. I don't think Sony themselves has referred to them as triggers, but they're kind of like slanted down, as you can see, or may not be able to see. So people are saying they're bad for racing games, but I've had no problems on racing games with these, because when I press these down, I kind of press up here. I press, like, as you probably can see, hopefully, I kind of press like where this little hinge is right here. I press that down, so I have a decent grip on it. But so I wasn't really understanding why people were bashing it until I tried to play first-person shooters. First-person shooters do not work with these at all. It is very uncomfortable to use first-person shooters with these, which is why the defaults for first-person shooters are the top buttons here. So overall, the Dualshock 3, very nice controller. I know it started off as a 6-axis back on the PS3's first release. It was just called the 6-axis. There was no rumble feature. I don't even know what to say about that whole boomerang controller thing. I don't even know what that was. But yes, this is the Dualshock 3. It feels really nice in my hand. Like I said, it's the same controller as it's been all these years. Like we have a PS2 controller right here that I'll go ahead and unravel for you here, so I can just show you this one. Let's get this cord off. These cords are, who needs cords these days? Pretty similar to this. I will say the thumbsticks on the PS3 controller are a lot better than these thumbsticks, but yeah, overall this controller is very, very good. I really like this controller. It gets the job done for any game I've played. But Sony has released PS4, obviously, and with that comes the Dualshock 4. This is my Dualshock 4 that came with the console. My secondary Dualshock 4 was broken by my brother, or someone broke it, I don't know, but that one's broke. So the thumbsticks on these are a little worn down, so I've opted to use my stepbrother's PS4 controller that he bought. This one is a lot newer, and the thumbsticks are a lot newer. So let's talk about what is on the Dualshock 4. Well, you have your standard thumbsticks, and you have the PS button, but you also have a new speaker here. It's used in games like Killzone Shadowfall, and you also have this touchpad here that's clickable as well. And you have a port for headsets. Any headset works. The PS4 controller is pretty cool. Standard D-pad. Triangle, circle, X, and square. And then you have the, oh wait, let me get these in here. The share button, which is right here, and the options button, which is right here. They're a bit higher up than the start and select button on the PS3 controller, but they still work. And then you have, these are actually called bumpers now. Bumpers here, and you have the triggers here as well. And then you have the light bar and the USB connection. So, first off here, when I first pick up the controller, it is a lot different than holding, the Dualshock 3. The form factor is a lot different, and it just fits in your hand. Actually, to me, it fits in your hand a lot nicer than this controller does. Even though this does fit in my hand, even though my fingers do rest right in the middle of these, which isn't good as compared to this, I pick it up, my fingers rest automatically on the triggers, which is awesome. So overall, this controller feels awesome. We'll go over the thumbsticks here are really good. I think they improved those really well over the PS3 thumbsticks. They kind of have this like indentation around that goes around. It kind of comes over the center part here, so it really gives you a really good grip while you're playing first-person shooters. The buttons feel a little different. They aren't pressure sensitive either, as they are on this controller, which I thought was going to be a problem with games like Metal Gear Solid, but Metal Gear Solid seems to have figured that out. But they feel a little different in terms of feel. They are a little bit more, you can kind of slide your finger across them more than the PS3 controller. And as I said, thumbsticks feel good. The D-pad, it's a good D-pad, but I kind of prefer this D-pad here a little bit better. I don't know. But yeah, it feels really good in your hands. It's not really hard to read the option buttons. It's really fast, as you can see. And the touchpad works pretty good in games like Killzone. And the triggers, the triggers are a lot better on the PS4 controller. I can't use these, obviously, because it doesn't feel good and it doesn't even look good either. You have to use the triggers for the PS4 controller, but it fits perfectly in your hand. And like I said, I have smaller hands than your average Joe, so this controller fits really well in my hand. The light bar is okay. I haven't set it to the dimmest option available to conserve battery life, because battery life of these controllers, I haven't really noticed they don't really die on me that often, actually, as opposed to some people. I mean, usually I don't game 6 hours in a row. I usually game about 3 or 2 or maybe 4, but they don't really die that much. And my controllers usually, when it says it's running low, it lasts for another good couple of hours or so. So the controller is very good, and it is a lot better than its predecessor, the Dualshock 3, but I can still use both. I know that if I do get an Xbox One, that using this controller will be very hard. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have. The DualShock 4 is definitely an improvement over the DualShock 3, and is a really solid controller. If I get an Xbox One, I'm gonna go ahead and drop down here. If I get an Xbox One, I will be doing an Xbox One comparison video. I'll be comparing the Xbox One controller to the Xbox 360 controller. Now, I don't own an Xbox 360 controller, but my friend does, so what I probably would do is I would probably use his Xbox 360 controller. I'd ask if I could use it in the video. He doesn't have the original Xbox 360 controller. He has the changed one with the rotatable D-pad and the thumbsticks that are more similar to Xbox One, so but that'll come when it comes. For now, that was the DualShock 4 controller comparison. This is my controller. It's a bit more worn down than a brand new controller, obviously, so it gets the job done. That's what I use. Thumbsticks are a little bit more worn down, but they aren't really worn down that much. Hopefully they'll last for a while, because I have heard reports that the DualShock 4's thumbsticks are wearing down for some people. I have not had that problem. There is a small little like tear that looks like it might be happening in this controller, but if it does, I'll have to pick up one of the custom controllers in blue urban camo, or I believe white that some other controllers have coming out. But that's it for this comparison video. I should be getting back to uploading regular LPs and stuff very shortly. I know I haven't been uploading too many in the recent days. Been dealing with the Destiny beta as well as deciding to randomly do this. So that's all. I hope you enjoyed the DualShock 4 comparison video. I guess you can pretty much say it's my review. It's really good. But when the time comes, we'll compare the Xbox One controller to the Xbox 360 controller. And we might even compare the Xbox One and the DualShock 4 together as well. I don't really know if I'm going to do that yet due to a lot of the fanboys that could comment on the videos and potentially ruin things. But that's all for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I recommend the DualShock 4 controller. I don't know if there's any third-party ones out yet for the PS4, but if you don't like DualShock 4, then look at some freaking replacements. I really don't know. But that's all for me today, guys. So I guess as always, have a good day.